This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa. We've got a busy night of hockey tonight, featuring a few teams that have been in the headlines. First of which being the Oilers and Penguins, who swapped starting goalies last week. Now, this trade can't fully be judged for a few months, as all Edmonton is hoping for is better goaltending during the playoffs. As even though Stuart Skinner helped them get to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, his postseason play just hasn't quite been good enough. But can Tristan Jarry, who hasn't shone in the playoffs by any means himself, be the answer in net the Oilers have been looking for? Well, that we're gonna have to wait for in the playoffs. And speaking of the postseason, we've got the team that's been seemingly chasing the postseason all year as well. And that is, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs. No, we don't want to sound like a broken record here, as we've been saying this for weeks at this point. But even with their slow start, the Leafs still aren't too far out of the playoff picture. But all it would take is a hot stretch to catapult them up the standings. They'll have as good a chance as ever to start that tonight, as they're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks at Scotiabank Arena, who have already been skidding and are without Connor Bedard for the foreseeable future. So if Toronto has any hopes in saving this tough season, it's opportunities like these that you have to make good on. So if you're in the Leafs region and want to know how Toronto fares, you know just where to go, as TSN has you covered for all the action in tonight's game. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on TSN 4. Week 15 of the NFL wrapped up last night, with the Steelers blowing out the Dolphins and maintaining their one-game lead in the woeful AFC North. Pittsburgh wrapped up its 23rd consecutive home win on Monday Night Football, easily the longest streak in NFL history, with the Raiders' 12-game run between 1970 and 1985 being the next longest. While Aaron Rodgers completed 85% of his passes, for his highest completion percentage since Week 7 of 2014. As mentioned, the Steelers now head into the home stretch of the season, with a one-game lead in the North and just 3 games remaining. And it could all come down to the final game of the year, when they visit the rival Ravens, potentially with the division title and playoff spot on the line. Miami's loss snapped their surprising 4-game win streak and saw them officially eliminated from postseason contention, leaving Baltimore and Indy as the only AFC teams still on the hunt for a playoff spot but sitting on the outside looking in. And we're just a couple of sleeps away from the start of Week 16, where the Seahawks host the Rams in an absolutely massive Thursday nighter. Both teams enter with identical 11-3 records, and the winner will take over sole possession of top spot in both the NFC West and the entire conference. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on CTV and TSN, with kickoff scheduled for just over an hour later. Time now for my favorite segment and yours at We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
The NBA Cup Championship goes live from Sin City tonight, featuring the Knicks, who knocked out our Raptors in the quarterfinals, and the Spurs, who knocked out SGA and the Thunder on semifinal Saturday. Now, the vibes have mostly been high for the upstart Raps this season, as they sit second in the Atlantic, trailing only those same Knicks. But it's been a bit of a tough 24 hours for Raps fans, as Fred VanVleet revealed this little nugget about Kawhi during their championship run.
He said it from day one. I'm not staying here.
You know what? He never said he was gonna stay.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I can't. I'm not mad. But like, we did really get our hopes up there, didn't we? And another player from that championship team also seems to have moved on from those simpler times. Remember the great scarf debate of 2020?
I put you on scarves.
You know what we done here today, OG?
But did I put you on
You
scarves?
say you put me in the fashion, then we done today.
What about
we
scarves? But what about scarves?
Done. OG, I'm telling you, if you say it,
But what about scarves?
you put me in fashion, then I'm done.
But what about scarves?
I guess I'm done.
But what about scarves?
I guess I'm done.
But what about scarves?
What do you mean about scarf, OG?
You saw me with my scarf. You're like, that scarf's fire. I'm gonna get one too. And then you got one. And next time when I was wearing mine, you had one too. You act like you did it first.
You guys remember that. But despite the Big Apple having almost the same climate as the Six, OG seems to have turned the page on that era.
Are you still a big scarf guy?
No.
No more scarves?
No.
Retired from the scarf game?
I haven't needed one in a while.
It gets cold in New York, though.
It does, but I haven't worn one in a while.
Well, you know what? Some people just fall off scarves. Like, I haven't worn a scarf in a while either, okay? Big deal. I didn't catch OG's former squad back in action Thursday night when they visit the Bucks. Carriage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN. We got some big news out of the WNBA, as the Toronto Tempo dropped their jerseys ahead of their inaugural season. Yes, I mean, we knew what the colors were going to be. I was expecting to see a little more of the grayish blue in there, but we got the burgundy. It's a clean and classic look on the surface, but also features some pretty cool subtle details, including 6 speed lines on the side to represent the 5 players in the court, and the 6th player, the fans. And with the Tempo representing not just Toronto, but all of Canada. A direct nod to the fans feels like a great touch. We're all so excited to see the Tempo tip off in 2026. And as we got the jerseys, we're getting one step closer to getting that team in Canada. You guys already know I'm all in on Tempo. I've got a bunch of merch. I wear my Letterman jacket already. I'm in. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's time for Anytime Goal Scorer Challenge. But we're gonna do things a little differently today, with a spicy menu of games on tap tonight, and a trio of intriguing matchups from our friends at FanDuel. Sid the Kid and McJesus are going head-to-head in Steeltown, in a matchup of future Olympic teammates. Then it's another pair of countrymen with Ovi and Kaprizov squaring off in Mini. And then another pair of Russians with Matvey Michkov and Ivan Demidov facing off in Montreal. We love these matchups, but I think I'm gonna go with the player with the juiciest payoff, with Demidov paying out at plus 340. Remember, the Habs passed on Michkov in the 2023 draft to take defenseman David Reinbacher before taking Demidov the following year instead. And viewers in the Habs region can see if my pick comes through tonight when the Habs host the Flyers at 7 Eastern, 8 Atlantic on TSN2. That's it for me today with Super North Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.